All right, guys, let's jump right on into hot topics. We got some significant hot topics today.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
All right, each of our hosts brings a hot topic they want to share with you. We'll ask, is it truth, lies, or shenanigans? Our panel will talk about it for a bit until time is up. And then we'll go to our audience for questions and comments. So make sure you're talking to us in all our threads. And it looks like we're starting with Rob B. You've got some rich Canadians jumping the line for COVID vaccines again. Is this truth, lies, or shenanigans, Rob B?
These shenanigans,
Shenanigans.
straight up shenanigans. Oh, Neil, if you could please pull up the image of these two individuals. Mhm. So, pictured here is Rodney Baker, age 55, and Ekaterina Baker, his wife, not his daughter, despite what the image looks like.
So it's very young.
Stay on topic. Stay on topic.
So they have been charged under Yukon's Civil Emergency Measures Act, according to some court documents, because there has been a tremendous backlash against this individual. During this backlash, Rodney Baker has resigned his executive position with the Great Canadian Gaming Corporation. So the Yukon Community Services Minister, John Stryker, said that the couple who live in Vancouver just showed up at a mobile clinic at Thursday in Beaver Creek where they received the vaccinations. Now, the Bakers traveled under the COVID advisory and then failed to self quarantine or to self isolate for 14 days. Instead, they chartered a private flight a couple of days after they arrived to fly the additional 200 miles to Beaver Creek. Now, the reason why this is significant is that the First Nations communities have been deemed a priority because they don't have the medical infrastructure. They lack the medical infrastructure to deal with the pandemic. So getting the vaccine out to these remote communities is vital. So the fact that some rich, very rich, privileged mainlanders flew out there and put everyone at risk by not following the protocols in order to circumvent the system and get access to the vaccine, and it's pretty unethical. So my question to the panel is, should they receive jail time?
Mm. All right. Lizzie, you want to start?
So I think it's important that Rob made it clear that they aren't being charged for the actual COVID vaccination scam. They're being charged for violating the COVID protocols. And so to that, I yes, they should be charged. There are protocols, there are countrywide mandates, government mandates for a reason. And just because you have a certain amount of privilege, of wealth, does not mean that you get to circumvent those rules and regulations and do as you please. And I'll even, give you something further, Rob. The same thing is going on here in the United States. The same thing is going on here in Washington, D.C. So I posted an article on my personal page earlier this week, a couple of days ago, about how in Washington, D.C., 47% of the allotted vaccines for the nation's capital have been used, have gone to non-residents, people who do not live in DC proper, people who are coming in from Maryland and Virginia. So Rob, we're feeling it here too. And I'm telling you, those people that are taking the vaccines here are also privileged. These aren't, your low income people who may need it. These are people that are coming into the city in specific neighborhoods that have vaccines because they are high risk and they're using them for their own advantage. So I find it to be appalling, appalling.
All right.
Agreed.
Johnny Storm,
Absolutely.
your thoughts?
Yeah, there are no rules on morality, so to speak. So the system is strange in that way. But I do definitely think that they should be charged. They also imposed and acted as people that they weren't. I think they acted like as workers, which is like,
Mhm.
who thinks of that? Who thinks of that? That's
That's a
so
good
creative and
question.
weird. But yeah, I think that they definitely should be charged. I think that it was wrong. And it's just interesting to know that, like Liz said, it's happening here too, like in the States. I didn't know that was happening. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know. This is the second time, Rob, that we're hearing something about this
You're
in
Canadian.
Canada, like Canadians.
Yep.
Together now.
I'm
The
with
wealthy Canadians.
I'm with Gianni. I'm so tired of your
Sure.
rich Canadian friends, Rob B, trying to jump the lines. You tell your friends
You're
to stop. I mean, you rich guys in Canada, yeah, you know what y'all mean. Are you jumping the lines?
Oh
Speaking of,
God, no! I want to make sure that essential workers, that frontline retail workers, that the people who really need it get it before I do, because they're the ones at
Yeah.
risk, and they're the ones that are floating the economy. They're the ones making things happen and taking care of us.
here you
I
go,
was
Lizzie. Here you
Exactly.
go, Lizzie.
I was going
What
to
you
ask
guys
you about,
hate Canada?
according to the protocols, who's in line first? Like who's at the top of the list, and how does that trickle down?
Right now, things are kind of shifting because the amount of vaccines that we were expecting uh, are those numbers are dropping considerably. So that's absolutely an area of concern. But yeah, the elderly, First Nations, our medical frontline workers, those would be the front. These are the people that are at the front of the list, absolutely, and as they should be. But as we can see, people of privilege have a tendency to believe that the rules don't apply to them. It's a really unfortunate reality that we live in.
These,
Like Johnny
Yeah,
said,
it
like
is.
these individuals were very deceptive
I was gonna say,
in how they went about it. Like
Yeah.
there was
put a
a
lot of
plan.
effort into this.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
They posed as motel workers
Yeah,
in a small remote
That's just
community of 125 people. So
That's weird.
yeah. I mean, they put. I mean,
Weird.
definitely wrong for them stealing from hard-hit indigenous community for sure. On top of that, I guess the only reason they need or want it is so they don't have to be cooped up inside. I mean, that's the only reason they went and did it. So I think they need jail time. And the fines was like $600 or something in fines. I don't remember what it was.
$500 each and up to 6 months in prison.
That's
So
that's
I,
like
I
me
really
paying like
hope.
the equivalent of like a $20 parking ticket or something. Ask me if I'm willing to pay $20 parking ticket for like a COVID vaccine. I'll do it. I'll do it.
but
Yeah.
Are you going to
but
chance the 6 months of incarceration?
That's the thing. I mean, that's why I'm saying they need jail time because if the question is, am I going to spend 6 months in jail or a year in jail? I'm definitely rethinking that decision. But a
Yeah.
$20 fine, I'll do it.
I always tell my students that, if you're trying to impose a ban or a fine on something, you always go at the high end. That's what's going to deter people. If you start at the
Yep.
high end, so $500, how about $5,000? How about
Hmm.
$50,000
Yeah.
plus potential 6 months in jail?
Yeah.
So you have to start hitting people where it hurts, so they will
Yeah.
not want to do this in the future, especially as it relates to medical needs. Again, we are in a pandemic, people, and your need as a privilege as a rich person is no greater than my need if I'm elderly, if I am a frontline worker, health worker, or if I have, some pre-existing condition that says I am more likely to get the disease than you are. Like, fall
Yeah.
back, folks. Fall back.
Hmm.
This reminds me of the movie 2012 when there was like it was the end of the world because of all of these disasters, and then the wealthy had like a specialized kind of like contraption. I think it was like a rocket ship or something where they were able to kind of escape, and then the regular common folk, if
Yeah.
they didn't survive, then they
Well,
don't
yeah,
survive.
it's just
But
like the whole
reminds
Trump
me of
thing.
that.
When Trump was getting all the special treatments and took him a week. He recovered in a week.
Yeah.
But all right,
Wow. Yeah.
we got some comments online. Kevin Brown, Lizzie, you are high risk being diabetic. You and I are high risk being diabetic.
Yes.
Mike Winter
Sure.
says same penalty should apply for Karens who frivolously call the cops on black people.
Different topic, Mike Winter. Let's stay on topic.
Jose says, and also immune compromised people as well. I will wait for as long as I have to. Mike Winter
Yeah,
says, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm immune compromised and I still am waiting it out. Like, I don't think that I should jump someone else simply because I have diabetes. Like, if it's a neighborhood where the numbers are high, I want everyone in that neighborhood to be treated first, especially since I barely leave my apartment. So I'm good. I'm good. Get to the
Safe.
people
Yeah.
who have to leave who are at higher risk than I am.
Olivia, my sister says, Nick's dad got his first vaccine. Woohoo!
Ooh, sweet.
So
Good for him.
Oh,
yeah,
Good for
oh, she said that.
yeah, he's high
Aw.
risk as well. So he's in his 70s. So Derry Winter says, who are the people taking the vaccine? Are they the medical workers, police, firemen, and now teachers and other educational employees who are to be vaccinated so they can go to work in DC? Or the problem is that 50% of these employees may not live in DC, for example. Talking about
But
Libya.
and Darius is right. Like a lot of them don't live in DC, so they're taking it in Washington DC because of convenience. However, the state of Maryland, the state of Virginia, they are not supplementing that. They're not giving us extra vaccines to take care of these people who are taken away from DC residents. They did initially. But of course, those went away. Those were used very quickly. And we still have people that are using vaccines that are meant for DC proper residents. So, Governor of Maryland, Hogan, Governor of Virginia, y'all need to step up. We're taking care of your
Yeah.
people. You need to give us the tools to take care of your people.
All right. Great hot topic. Thank you, Robbie.
Truth,
Thank you.
lies,
Great discussion.
shenanigans.